This year is a year of great change for me. Many of my closest friends and even my parents are all moving out of state. One of my best friends and business partner just moved to Washington last week. Fortunately, I'll get to visit him and see his new place. It's about 20 hours of driving and it's a paid vacation. This will be the longest trip I've ever driven and it will be a fun adventure. I hope. I've been blessed enough to have traveled to many states before and to have been able to do freerunning in many of them. This won't be my first trip to Washington. I visited some friends there right after high school. I visited San Francisco with our freerunning team in 2006. Then New York in late 2007. Texas in 2009, Hawaii with my new camera in 2010, then Pennsylvania about 2 years ago. I didn't expect all the rain as we drove through the great nothingness that is Central California. I don't get it. It doesn't rain for like 5 years, and now when I'm going to drive 1,200 miles, it decides to drop everything it's been holding back. In the afternoon, we were stopped as the entire 5 freeway was blocked north of Redding. We tried taking an alternate country road to travel up north, but it did not feel safe. We weren't going to make it to Oregon tonight, so we decided to get a motel. There's a sense of freedom that comes when traveling across the country with friends. My first experience of freedom was taking the bus as a kid for the first time. We took it a few blocks down to a local mall to go skating and then rode our skateboards back. The next day we decided to do it again, but we accidentally missed our stop. So the brilliant idea we had was, hey, let's take it to the end of the line. My friend Mikey had an aunt who lived right around the corner from East LA College, and that's where the bus was stopping. We didn't think we needed money for the return trip since we were planning on skating back. We were 3 11-year-old kids riding skateboards down alleyways and sidewalks at dusk in East LA. In case any of you were wondering, we did make it to his aunt's house, we did call our parents, and we did get in big trouble. A better, more recent example, however, was when some of us from Team Defy took a bus to San Francisco to go freerunning. It was the first time I was traveling on my own without my parents, and with their knowledge. We spent 3 days in hotels, flipping off ledges, and traveling around the city. It was the first time I truly felt like an adult.
This is when we become our own, on our own. Oh. On our own.
Well, almost like an adult.
Are you taking video of us?
We started up the 5 freeway early in the morning the next day. Instead of 2 8-hour travel days, we were doing the bulk of those days today, about 800 miles. It was going to be a long, long day, but at least the storm had passed. When I used to skate, we would ride our boards across town looking for a spot to skate. We would find some small stair set or a ledge that took us maybe 20 minutes to get to, and that was all we did there. As I got older and into freerunning, we started driving to the spots where we wanted to go. This expanded our range to find a spot to go freerunning. I have a lot of fond memories of playing music and joking in the car. We would often plan a route that took us to multiple locations on a single day, or venture out to a new spot that maybe one of us drove by and thought it would be worth a stop. I had traveled a whole lot as a kid. I traveled across the country when I was 9. We visited the Grand Canyon, Carlsbad Caverns, the Mississippi River, and we stayed in Alabama for the summer. When I was 12, we lived in Germany for 8 months, visiting Paris, Rome, and many other sites in Europe. Being on our own for the first time, it's just about like it was growing up. However, the freedom of the open road did not feel like freedom to this 12-year-old kid. I felt restricted to the car and the desires of someone else. I had not yet developed the respect for such wonderful sights nor experienced the freedom that comes from going where I want, when I want. And where I wanted to be most in the whole world was at home with my friends. I am incredibly grateful for the experiences of my youth, even if I didn't fully appreciate it back then. When I got to high school, my parents wanted to move somewhere where they could own land, but I wanted to stay here. I told them I wanted to live, get married, and have kids in this house. My young, naive self had no idea that as of now, I would get married and live in this house with my wife, Sarah. Even having traveled to many places in this world, all I ever wanted to live was right here in my hometown in Southern California. My junior high, high school, college, church, and nearly every close friend I had all lived within 10 minutes of home. I've grown up. I've traveled with friends, with my wife, and I get it. I get the excitement when visiting somewhere new, the sense of adventure and freedom that comes from traveling. I'm also aware that it can be boring, wearing, and at times, dangerous. All throughout the day was the constant reminder of danger. We counted 7 semi-trucks crashed, flipped over, or caught on fire during our journey. Casualties of the storm we skipped past. A reminder that any journey, no matter how exciting, can be dangerous. We had been driving through small country roads for almost an hour, seeing maybe 2 or 3 cars during that time. We were about a half an hour from the Washington border and we reached a small pass through some mountains and saw the winding road up ahead that went down the mountain completely covered in thick ice. There was no more reception and we were 2 miles from the main highway. I have never been more scared driving. We came out of the other side and there was the main highway. Small towns, hundreds of cars, the last remaining bits of daylight, and 4 more hours to go. It wasn't until we reached Spokane that we began to feel a sense of relief that comes from the end of a long ordeal. I know what you're going to say. I know many of you have made it far larger and more dangerous trips than I, and that I should just stop being a wuss. We all have things that come easy for us and things that are difficult. I have a hard time driving on long trips. The stress of the road, the uncertainty of the terrain, and the danger of other drivers. I often feel weak because of this anxiety of driving that seems to come so easy for others. Things like driving, talking to strangers on the phone, and climbing rickety ladders have always caused anxiety for me. But hey, I have no problem with climbing up and flipping off a roof. Okay, well, we finally made it. We left at 7 a.m. this morning. It is now 9 p.m. and we've been driving all day. We made it. Okay. Text them and say here.